Video topic: things I wish I knew as a teenager. Don't pop your pimples and don't vape. I'm just kidding. But it's actually pretty solid advice if those are things you don't already know. If you don't have a strong mentor figure, which is the majority of young people, you run a astronomically high risk of drifting through life, just going through the motions. I don't want that for you. I want you to skip the painful process, so hopefully this video can reconcile the stinging truth that no one is coming to save you. Be comfortable in that fact. We live in the loneliest times in history. Social media made us think that digital connection is a solid replacement for relationships. So save yourself, because no one else will. I don't live with regrets, and you shouldn't either, because everything happens for a reason, especially the bad stuff. First thing, the jobs you get aren't for money. They're to develop you. Your income will be negligible compared to the cost of living, and the economy is only going to get worse. But don't stress about that. That's why I'm here. I'll build a better system for humanity, or I'll die trying. So, what you should be doing is getting jobs that help you grow mentally and will cultivate a skill set. You only need to save up until you have a few $1,000s so you can reinvest in yourself. Please don't spend money on food unless you go out to a restaurant with friends. Your parents will and should feed you enough to at least work out every day. And I'm gonna assume you're smart enough to know that drugs will destroy not only your finances, but your health in the long run. If you are going to spend money, make sure it's on something tangible, something that will be with you for years, not something that'll be gone instantly, usually just moments after you purchase it. Secondly, your fears are never justified. Don't be afraid to fail. You're in a stage of your life where you're no longer a child, but you're not even close to being an adult. What people think of you is quite literally the least important factor to accomplishing your goals. If people can't do something themselves, they will desperately want to believe and convince you that you can't do it either. You have to know you'll be successful, you just never know when your breakthrough in life will arise. When you're young, everything feels like the end of the world. But that thing you're stressing about, people will forget in a week if they haven't forgotten already. Failure is actually great when you have a mindset that isn't damaged by societal expectation, because it signifies that you actually tried. And if you never try, yes, you will never fail, but by contrast, you will never succeed. Thirdly, never speak negatively of others, no matter how much they deserve it. What gossip gradually does to you is make you believe that focusing on others instead of yourself is productive, and this is greatly exasperated by the internet. If you focus on yourself for years, you'll look behind you and realize that the people who enjoyed gossiping are still doing the same thing, while you finished the race a long time ago, and now you're just doing laps around them. People love authenticity, and it's almost like we have a sixth sense for people who are fake. Comparison is a thief of joy, as we generally think of what we have relative to others. And when you're talking behind backs, you're comparing your own situation to theirs, whether consciously or not. Small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, and big minds discuss ideas. Fourthly, develop good habits. Don't farm dopamine. If your parents didn't mold you to love chess and reading, but gave you video games and a computer to shut you up, willingly make the conscious choice to do difficult things that you know are good for you. You have access to the internet, meaning you can learn how to be better in every area of your life. The caveat is that the easy way always feels good. And for lack of a better term, doing the hard things lick ass. Productive habits feel bad in the moment, but amazing later, and vice versa. If you learn this young, by the time you're 20, you'll have garnered respect from society, something people don't tend to accomplish until they're around 30, putting you massively ahead. Teenage years are like a prologue. Life gets so much better when you actually put the work in. Sixth, don't fear being alone, and disregard being popular. Don't try and fit in. In fact, stand out if it's what you naturally do. Your personality, which may feel weird whilst you're developing and discovering yourself, is actually the thing that will naturally incline you towards your life purpose and where you want to be when you're older. Never box yourself into a linear pattern of thinking. The more open you are to ideas, the more receptive you are to knowledge. A closed mind never grows. The people you look up to are no different than you are. Everyone is a human figuring it out as they go, just like you. You can be a pioneer in your field or industry if you really want to, but you never will if you're worried about the next person forever. Nurture relationships with people who align with you and want to grow. Go to a party every now and then if you want, but never base your friendships on turning up. 7th, forgive your parents. Like I said before, they were figuring it out just like you are. They spent a good majority of their entire life just making sure you were alive and okay. They worry because they want the best for you. They may not necessarily know what's the best for you, but show some gratitude, man. Life is rough, and when you're a teenager, they're literally the only reason you're not starving in the cold. We all wanted parents that made sure we developed intelligence and healthy habits, but the only obligation they had was to ensure your safety. Like I said at the beginning of this video, everything else falls on you. 8th, take life one day at a time. We structured society to program kids to think they need to know their life career choice by 19, but you're never trapped into anything. Even if you wasted all the time you had, you can always reinvent yourself. Even the established artists and innovators you see are winging it. Yes, they've developed themselves to a point where they are now impressive, but all that means is that they are living proof that you can do the exact same thing. Be present always. Depression stems from living in the past, and anxiety stems from living in the future. You are young. The only thing you need to do is instill self-development, because regret and failure creep in a decade or two later if you do not. 9th, your grades don't matter, as they don't define your intelligence. If you're trying to get into a prestigious school, then disregard this fact. But as long as you're not failing your courses, you're just there for the degree. Learn what you want to learn. Read what interests you. Develop skills that are practical, because in college, let alone life, no one is going to ask you what grade you got in pre-calculus 11. Lastly, don't doom scroll. As a matter of fact, delete social media if you have to. What I noticed is most people's follower count are remnants of people they knew in high school and college. If everyone only followed people they knew personally, no one would have more than 100 followers. We live in such a weird time where our entertainment is other people's lives. I think society has been greatly damaged by this, and if you're young, I believe it hinders you in such an intense way. If someone doesn't talk to you because you don't have a social media account, they're probably not someone who cares about you anyway. If this video helped you in the slightest, like and subscribe. It takes you 2 seconds, but it helps me out more than you can imagine. Love you guys.